A fundamental aspect of pretty much every video game out right now is the concept of winning. Otherwise, what is actually the point in playing? And you might be thinking, well, yes, not every single game is technically built that way. There are perpetual games like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, and they don't share this sense of winning, just like The Sims, except they actually do. By winning, I don't simply mean killing the final boss. Winning can also mean progress, structure, and a feeling of accomplishment. And the lack of all three of these factors is why The Sims 4 simply doesn't feel fun, and subsequently why most simmers don't play the game regularly. It's the kind of game that people might play once a year, like really solidly for a few days, and then they never touch it again, and it's pretty much for this reason. When you start a new save file in The Sims 4, what do you actually do? You create a sim in CAS. At first it's fun, but then you're 2 hours in and you're starting to feel exhausted. Then you have to choose a world. This game has over 100 worlds now, so which one do I choose? So now I've chosen a world. Which lot do I choose to live in? Oh, but the pre-made build here isn't suitable, it's ugly and doesn't suit my household. So do I spend 3 hours building a new one myself? Or do I just steal one off the gallery after I eventually have to look and choose and find one that's suitable for me? And after all this, we are now in live mode finally. So what do I do? I mean, you could do anything, right? And that's precisely the problem. When I can do everything, I don't want to do anything. Having too much choice is not a good thing. Having more freedom does not make us more creative. It just makes us bored and unhappy. When you have everything, nothing really matters anymore. It's like those billionaires that have the porta potty scat fetish because they just have everything. They resort to having these weird sexual fetishes. Or it's the reason why billionaires want to colonize Mars. Am I comparing the reason why The Sims 4 is boring to scat fetish? It seems so. When you have unlimited power to do anything you want, you basically run out of motivation to do anything. Let's take earning money as a textbook example in The Sims 4. So at first you can choose a job, and that's a fun concept. You can work from home in order to help you get promoted. You could try to befriend your boss and convince them to promote you, or you could just comb the sand for seashells and make 10,000 simoleons in 5 minutes, or you could just infinitely search for decorations from the decoration box and sell everything you find for unlimited money, or at this point just use money cheats to get what you want. The ways for making money in this game are so inconsistent, and so is the in-game economy too. Out of these two objects, which do you think is more expensive? So even if you do progress by making money in a meaningful way, the economy has no meaning, so it doesn't feel like you've achieved anything. The same freedom of choice paradox can be applied to everything in The Sims 4, whether that be forming friendships, romantic relationships, trying to give birth to twins, raising skills, changing mootlets. With no constraints or win conditions set up in a meaningful way, the player just ends up going a little bit crazy and bored. And just like how very wealthy people have scat fetish and want to live in Mars, I also think this is the reason why many simmers download crazy mods like the violence mods and the woohoo mods. People simply don't like the choice, and they don't feel like they're working towards any kind of end goal. In order for a video game to be fun, it must have some kind of structure. In a farming simulation game, you'll follow a structured calendar year by year, and each month there are different things to do and different events. There are different crops to grow, meaning every single month in-game is going to feel different. And this is a great example of how structure in a game can keep a sandbox style game interesting. Each season brings a fresh perspective on the game, inspiring you to do something a bit different. This is why structure is so important, even in a sandbox game, because you need this structure to inspire you to keep going and try out different things. Even in an open-ended game like Animal Crossing, you get eased into new gameplay concepts in a very structured order to give you some sense of progression. And you've got the daily tasks and the weekly tasks in Animal Crossing that keep you coming back to. The problem with The Sims is there is no progression. EA have tried to add progression into the game before, but it just simply doesn't work. Take Aspirations for example, some of these are step-by-step tutorials for pack concepts. Others just have a couple of long-term goals without any step-by-step progression. Some are too easy, others are too hard. Ironically, these aspirations which exist in order to give The Sims 4 structure have no structure, which is why I think most Simmers don't like them. The same could be said about the timed Sims 4 events, the battle pass ones. These exist in order to give The Sims 4 some kind of progression, you might say. You complete some tasks to a basic storyline and win objects as rewards as you progress, although the problem here is the stories of the events are boring, so are the rewards, and there's no cross-pack play. The Sims team did add in a challenge mode to The Sims 4. These are called Sims 4 scenarios, and some of them have step-by-step progression, the more tutorial-y ones, but then others just have a main end goal. But then these also suffer the same issue in that there isn't really any structure to them, and you don't feel like you've won. You don't feel like you've done anything good after completing them. The Sims team don't know how to add progression into this game. There is no gameplay loop. There's no reason to come back at certain times, and it's a shame because The Sims 4 has a calendar system. The main reason why people bought seasons before the calendar was added to the base game was because it simply gave you a sense of time, and Sims really desperately wanted that progression. And even with the Sims 4 seasons pack installed, you're not getting that progression. Feeling proud of yourself is a really important thing, and in gaming it's no different. Getting some kills in Valorant is a proud moment. Building your first proper home in Minecraft survival mode is a proud moment. Achieving 5-star island status in Animal Crossing is a proud moment. Having that emotional feeling of wow, I did this is really important in gaming. And on a deeper level, experiencing failures, improving yourself along the way, learning things is all a part of the journey and making you feel like you've achieved something at that big ending. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, feeling proud when gaming isn't just killing the final boss. It's the little wins that you make along the way too that are very important. In The Sims 4, there is no sense of achievement because everything feels cheaty, even when you're not using cheats to exploit everything. Take building social relationships, for example. Most of us don't bother building relationships in a meaningful way. What's the point when you can just spam random friendly interactions over and over again, or you could just send a friendly text message 10 times, or you could just cloud gaze and instantly become best friends. Forming relationships in The Sims doesn't feel meaningful or rewarding. You haven't had to win over their friendship by appeasing to their unique interests and hobbies, taking them out for fun days, building trust. You just spam interactions. It feels dirty, like you haven't gone through this cycle of effort, failure, and improvement, and as a result, you don't get that emotional feeling like you've achieved something even though you have. And without this sense of achievement, you don't feel like you're winning. So really, The Sims 4 is so messy right now. I don't think it's possible to fix this game. I truly believe The Sims 4 is beyond saving, but that doesn't mean the life simulation gaming genre is beyond saving. Paralives is still in development, and so is Life by You. No, Life by You is cancelled. What am I talking about? Inzoi, that one's still in development, and another new life sim game could come along. And I think it's really important that future life sim games look into these issues and figure out ways that they can fix them in order to give gamers the sense of winning and accomplishments like they do from pretty much any other video game, but applied to The Sims or life simulation. And I think if Paralives and Inzoi were to do this, it will definitely give them an edge above The Sims. So how do we actually fix all of these issues? I have some ideas. Maybe you'll think they're dumb, maybe you think they're good ideas, or maybe you have another idea. Let me know in the comments. Firstly, meaningful social relationships, romance, friendship, and family dynamics. These things are so important in life simulation. Imagine a Sims 4 hypothetically where every sim actually has a personality. Some sims like clubbing and partying, whereas other sims are more introverted and like reading. So maybe taking an introverted sim partying might make them dislike being in your company, but taking them to a library to read together could make them like you more. Adding meaningful personality and having to think about that as a player player to make it more of a mission in order to befriend someone is a lot harder and requires more effort, and I think it would help give you that sense of winning, kind of like how in the farming simulation games everyone has their own likes and dislikes in terms of gifting them things. It would just simply be more complex. Another example for me is career progression. Instead of simply having a career progress bar, have multiple, some relating to work relationships and networking, another one for job performance, another one for skill gain, another one for maybe working on optional after work projects from home, giving your Sims much stricter criteria to get promoted, and more importantly, having an economy that makes sense so earning that extra money from being promoted feels meaningful in the first place. And how about evolving aspirations and lifelong goals of your characters, and also midterm goals and short-term goals? Unlike current Sims 4 aspirations, how about some more open-ended ones that offer significantly more challenge, requiring you to achieve something very specific and rigid, yet at the same time having alternate paths along the way? For example, having an overarching aspiration about family life with different branches relating to raising kids, getting married, getting a dog, seeing your kids graduate, almost like a tree with different branches, each one rewarding you with something specific and meaningful, again, so you actually feel like you've achieved something from these aspirations. These are just some examples. I'm sure I could think of many more if I put the effort in, and I'm sure you guys have many too. Fundamentally, The Sims and life simulation games in general are not doomed to be something that you mess around with once a year and then get bored of it very quickly. The Sims 4 isn't feeling less fun because it's getting old and repetitive. It's feeling less fun because you simply aren't winning anything. It's for that reason I say I don't think The Sims 4 needs more expansion packs to feel interesting, nor does it need realistic gameplay or more build objects, but instead I think it simply just needs a reason to press play and have fun and feel like you've done something at the end of it. If you guys are interested in some of the issues with The Sims 4 and why that specific game can't ever really be that good, then feel free to watch this video here talking about the way the game has basically been coded. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.